When you're on the edge, when your hands are shaking, your heart is heavy, and everything in you is screaming to stop, listen to this. Because that moment right there, that is where most people give up. That's the exact place where dreams die. Not because they were impossible, but because someone decided the pain wasn't worth the promise. Quitting is common, but you are not. That's the truth most people don't want to face when things get hard. The reality is, countless individuals start strong, filled with excitement, ambition, and dreams that stretch beyond the limits of their current reality. They have goals written down, affirmations on their mirrors, and vision boards full of all the things they believe they deserve. But when resistance shows up, when real work, discomfort, and sacrifice enter the picture, many quietly back away. The world is full of unfinished books, abandoned businesses, half-built dreams, and people who almost made it, not because they weren't capable, not because they lacked talent or resources, but because they quit when things got hard. And that's what makes quitting so common. It offers a quick exit, a sense of temporary relief from the pressure, and a way to avoid failure by never truly testing one's limits. But you are not common. If you were, you wouldn't be listening to this. If you were, you wouldn't be out here searching for the strength to keep going. Deep inside you is a voice that refuses to stay silent. That voice isn't satisfied with mediocrity. That voice wants more. It wants the life you've imagined, the goals you've dared to write down in secret, and the impact you want to leave behind. That voice is a reminder that you are not like the rest. You are not average. You are not meant to follow the crowd that gives up when the road turns uphill. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is not found in talent or opportunity. It's found in grit, the relentless refusal to give up when giving up would be the easier path. Every person you admire, every leader, artist, athlete, or entrepreneur who's left a mark on the world had a moment, probably many, when quitting looked like the logical choice. But they didn't. They chose to keep going. They chose to believe in a future they couldn't yet see, simply because they knew deep down that something greater was waiting on the other side of their perseverance. When you feel the weight of exhaustion, when progress seems slow, and when every part of you wants to walk away, remind yourself, quitting is easy. That's why so many do it. But you were not made to be like everyone else. You were made to do hard things. You were made to stand up when others sit down, to continue when others stop, and to keep fighting when the battle feels endless. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need all the answers. You just need to remember who you are. The uncommon, the determined, the resilient. You don't give up. Not because you never feel like it, but because you've decided that what you're fighting for is more important than how you feel in the moment. Pain is not punishment. It's preparation. Most people misunderstand pain. They think it's a sign they've made a mistake or that they're on the wrong path. They associate discomfort with failure, as if hardship is proof that they're not cut out for something greater. But the truth is, pain is part of the process. It's not there to break you. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of doubt and struggle is preparing you for something your current self isn't quite ready to handle. The discomfort is molding you, stretching you, sharpening you into the version of yourself that can carry the weight of the success you seek. If everything came easy, you wouldn't grow. You'd stay the same. Comfortable, untested, and limited. But success requires transformation. It demands that you level up, not just in your skills, but in your character. Pain has a way of teaching what comfort never could. It shows you your blind spots, forces you to face your weaknesses, and pushes you to discover strength you never knew existed. It introduces you to parts of yourself that only emerge when everything familiar is stripped away. There's a reason the most powerful people you know have been through the fire. They didn't wake up confident, capable, and fearless. They became that way because life tested them, and instead of running from the pain, they leaned into it. They understood that pain isn't the enemy, it's the teacher, and the lessons it brings are priceless. Lessons in patience, in discipline, in perseverance. Lessons in humility and gratitude. Lessons that no book, no mentor, no motivational video could ever deliver in the same way. When you experience pain, it's not a sign to stop. It's a signal to look closer, to dig deeper, and to stay the course. The struggle is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of your breakthrough. The road to greatness is paved with resistance. If there were no obstacles, there would be no growth. If there were no pressure, there would be no transformation. Diamonds are made under pressure. Muscles are built through resistance. Trees grow stronger when they withstand wind. You're no different. Everything you're going through right now is preparing you for what's next. The late nights, the early mornings, the doubts, the fears, the moments when no one claps for you, when no one sees your effort. All of it matters. All of it is building you. Pain is refining your focus, forcing you to recommit to your goals, and reminding you why you started. It's stripping away what's unnecessary and strengthening what's essential. And while it may not feel like it now, this process is shaping a version of you that will be able to handle the success, the pressure, the responsibility, and the reward that's coming. Pain is not punishment. It's proof that you're evolving. It's a part of the journey that separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers, and the temporary from the timeless. You are in the fire, and that's where strength is forged. Nothing powerful is created in comfort. Nothing extraordinary is shaped without pressure. Fire is the ultimate test, the ultimate purifier, and the ultimate builder. It burns away the unnecessary, reveals the truth, and hardens what remains into something unbreakable. And that's exactly what you're going through right now. The fire you feel, the adversity, the setbacks, the uncertainty, is not there to destroy you. It's there to bring out what's real. It's there to expose your potential, not your limits. Most people avoid the fire. They see the heat, feel the discomfort, and retreat to safety. But greatness doesn't grow in safety, it grows in challenge. It's shaped in discomfort. It's forged through repeated exposure to what is hard, to what is uncertain, to what hurts, but still demands forward motion. Fire doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't ask if you're comfortable. It shows up uninvited and it tests your commitment to the dream you said you wanted. When you say you want success, you're also saying you're willing to go through the fire to get it. You're saying that you're ready to become someone stronger, someone more focused, someone more capable. Because the version of you that starts the journey is not the one who finishes it. The fire is what transforms you from who you are into who you must become. It burns away fear, laziness, self-doubt, and anything else that can't survive the weight of real responsibility. It leaves behind only the core, the part of you that's built for more, the part that can't be broken. Everyone wants the results, the recognition, the reward, but very few are willing to endure the heat required to earn it. That's why so many never make it. They quit when it gets hard. They panic when the pressure increases. But pressure is not punishment. It's proof that you're being prepared for a new level. The heat you're feeling right now is the evidence that you're in the process of becoming more. This is the refining stage where your patience is tested, your will is stretched, and your faith in yourself is questioned daily. It's the place where most stop, and the few who push through separate themselves forever. Being in the fire doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're being formed. Every struggle, every rejection, every quiet night where you wonder if it's worth it, those are the sparks. Those are the flames. And each time you rise again, each time you choose to stay, you become something more. Stronger, sharper, clearer. The fire makes sure you're ready. It doesn't release you until you've let go of everything that doesn't serve your higher purpose. You don't come out of it the same person. You come out focused. You come out disciplined. you come out with a story that can't be denied because it was written in fire, sealed with pain, and earned through the kind of perseverance most people will never understand. Silence allows space for discipline, focus, and deep work. In a world that constantly demands our attention, where notifications, conversations, and distractions fill every moment, silence has become rare, almost uncomfortable for many. But it is in silence that the most meaningful growth takes place. It is in the quiet that we come face to face with our thoughts, our habits, and our goals without the interference of outside noise. When we remove ourselves from the chatter, we begin to see clearly. We begin to notice what truly matters and where our energy should be going. This clarity is where discipline is born and sustained. Discipline thrives in controlled environments, and silence is one of the most controlled environments we can create. It removes temptation, it removes comparison, it removes the pressure to react or impress. In silence, there's no audience to perform for, just the reality of your own effort and whether or not you're putting in the work. It forces accountability. Are you doing what you said you would do? Are you staying consistent? Are you committed even when no one is watching? These are the questions that silence brings to the surface, and the answers shape your path forward. Focus is sharpened when external distractions fade. The mind, free from interruptions, begins to enter a state of flow where productivity deepens. Thoughts become more organized. Ideas surface with more strength. There's space to think longer, more critically, more creatively. You can sit with a problem until it's solved. You can stay with a task until it's finished. This uninterrupted attention is what leads to mastery in any area of life, whether it's business, craft, health, or personal development. And silence is the doorway to that kind of focus. In silence, we also start to notice patterns in our behavior, in our choices, in our thinking. Without noise to distract us, our minds turn inward. We reflect, we analyze, we become aware of the habits that serve us and those that sabotage us. This awareness is essential for growth. You cannot change what you do not recognize, and silence brings that recognition into view. When you remove yourself from the noise of the world, you stop absorbing everyone else's opinions, values, and goals, and you start reconnecting with your own. You begin to ask yourself what you truly want, what you're willing to do for it, and how you will get there. Deep work, the kind of work that creates breakthroughs, builds careers, and transforms lives, does not happen in chaos. It happens in solitude. It happens in focused, silent commitment to a task or a vision. It requires space to think, time to struggle through complexity, and the absence of distractions that fragment attention. In silence, there is room for depth. You go beyond surface-level productivity. You stop checking boxes and start building systems. You stop chasing quick wins and start investing in long-term growth. That is the power of silence. It doesn't just help you hear yourself, it helps you build yourself from the inside out. Listening and observing are more powerful than constant speaking. In conversations, meetings, and daily interactions, the one who speaks the most isn't always the one with the greatest influence. Often it is the listener, the one who watches, pays attention, and studies the environment, who gains the most insight and holds the true advantage. There is a reason why some of the most respected leaders, strategists, and thinkers are known for their ability to remain quiet in a room full of noise. They don't rush to speak. They don't interrupt to be heard. They allow others to reveal themselves through words, while they gather information through silence. Listening is a skill, and like any skill, it requires practice and discipline. It means resisting the urge to respond too quickly, to fill the silence, or to assert your opinion before fully understanding what's being said. True listening is active. It involves more than just hearing words. It's about decoding meaning, noticing tone, identifying contradictions, and sensing emotion beneath the surface. This level of attention gives you a clearer picture of reality. It shows you what's really going on, not just what's being presented on the surface. When you listen deeply, people tell you everything, even when they think they're saying nothing. Observation adds another layer of power. While others are busy expressing themselves, you are watching. You are studying behavior, body language, patterns, and shifts in energy. You begin to see what others miss. You can tell when someone is uncertain, when they are hiding something, when they are bluffing, or when they are being honest. You learn to see beyond the words. This kind of perception is incredibly valuable in business, in relationships, in leadership, and in personal growth. It helps you make better decisions, avoid unnecessary conflict, and seize opportunities others overlook. In silence, you also give people space to show their true selves. The less you speak, the more others fill the gaps. They reveal intentions, values, and even weaknesses. People who constantly talk often reveal more than they realize. But the one who listens, who says little, who waits, has the advantage. They hold their thoughts until the right moment. When they do speak, their words carry weight because they've been shaped by understanding, not reaction. Their voice is trusted because it is rare and deliberate, not constant and careless. Listening and observing also build emotional intelligence. You become more aware of how others feel, what motivates them, and how they respond to different situations. This awareness helps you connect, influence, and lead with greater effectiveness. You learn to navigate difficult conversations, resolve conflict, and support others without dominating them. The quiet observer often becomes the wisest presence in the room, not because they know everything, but because they see clearly and understand deeply. In a world full of noise, the person who can truly listen and observe stands out. They possess a quiet strength that others can feel. They don't need to announce their insight or prove their value constantly. Their understanding does that for them. Their awareness becomes their power, and their silence becomes their signal that they are paying attention when others are too busy speaking. Keeping your goals and progress private is a powerful form of protection. In a time when everything is shared publicly, achievements, intentions, even personal struggles, the idea of working in silence feels almost radical. But there is real strength in keeping your ambitions to yourself. When you don't feel the need to announce your goals to everyone, you remove the pressure that often comes with public accountability. You take the focus off how things appear and place it fully on what actually matters, the work. Publicly sharing your goals can sometimes create a false sense of accomplishment. The moment you declare your intentions, you may receive encouragement, praise, or attention. That can feel good in the short term, but it often satisfies the part of your brain that craves reward, making it harder to stay committed to the grind. When the applause comes too early, the urgency to act can fade. You become more attached to the image of progress than the experience of it. By keeping your goals private, you keep the reward system intact. You don't celebrate prematurely, and that helps you stay hungry. Privacy also shields your mindset. When fewer people know what you're working on, fewer people can influence your thinking. You won't be distracted by doubts, criticisms, or unsolicited advice. You won't be pressured to justify your decisions or explain your progress at every turn. Your mental space remains clean, focused, and free of noise. That clarity is a major advantage. It allows you to follow your own strategy without interference, to pivot without judgment, and to evolve at your own pace. The fewer opinions you invite, the stronger your intuition becomes. Another benefit of keeping your goals private is the ability to move without resistance. People are less likely to question or challenge you when they don't know your destination. You can operate with more freedom, more creativity, and more precision. No one can sabotage what they don't see. No one can compete with a plan that hasn't been revealed. Privacy gives you the element of surprise. It allows your progress to appear suddenly, confidently, and undeniably without giving anyone a chance to prepare against it. This approach also teaches discipline. When your motivation isn't fueled by attention or external validation, it has to come from within. You learn to work hard without recognition, to stay consistent without praise. You become your own source of accountability. You stop performing and start producing. That internal fire is what separates those who chase goals from those who achieve them. The former wants to be seen doing the work. The latter wants to do the work so well that it doesn't need to be seen. It simply becomes evident through result. It is a deep confidence that comes from knowing you're making progress quietly. You don't need to prove yourself to others because you've already proven it to yourself in silence. Every hour you spend building something meaningful while the world remains unaware becomes a source of strength. The longer you work without the need for recognition, the more powerful you become when the time comes to reveal what you've done. Letting your consistency and habits build your reputation is one of the most reliable ways to earn lasting respect and influence. In a world that often celebrates talent, charisma, and quick wins, it's easy to overlook the quiet force of discipline repeated daily. But the truth is, reputations aren't built in moments of intensity. They're shaped in the routines, the systems, and the commitments you uphold when no one is watching. It's not what you do once that defines you, but what you do consistently, day in and day out, regardless of mood, circumstances, or audience. When people think of reputation, they often associate it with achievements, titles, or public recognition, but those are just outcomes. The foundation beneath every real accomplishment is built through habits, small, repeated actions that compound over time. Showing up every day, sticking to the process, and staying focused when distractions tempt you, these are the things that build character. They create trust. They send a message to yourself and to the world that you're not driven by impulse, but by purpose. Consistency is rare, and that's why it stands out. Many start with enthusiasm, but only a few persist through boredom, setbacks, and delays. The ones who keep going, who stay locked in on the mission, long after the excitement fades, are the ones who rise above. People notice that. They remember those who don't just talk about discipline, but embody it. Your habits become your identity. And that identity builds a reputation that speaks louder than any introduction ever could. Consistency also builds credibility. When others see that you always follow through, whether it's showing up on time, honoring your word, or maintaining your standards, they begin to trust you. That trust isn't formed overnight. It's earned slowly through repeated proof. And once it's built, it becomes an asset that opens doors, creates opportunities, and attracts the right people into your life. Your reputation becomes a magnet, not because you've advertised yourself, but because your actions have left a mark on people's memory. Habits create structure. They remove decision fatigue, reduce friction, and allow you to operate at a high level even on tough days. They free up mental energy for deeper work and clearer thinking. When your life is built on strong habits, you don't need to rely on bursts of motivation. You move forward through discipline. Over time, that creates stability. It builds momentum. You start to accomplish more, not through force, but through flow. Eventually, your consistency begins to speak for itself. People start to associate your name with reliability, quality, and effort. You no longer have to convince anyone of your value. They already know. Because you've shown it, because your actions have spoken every single day. That's the kind of reputation that lasts. The kind that doesn't need to be promoted because it's already been proven. Not through speeches or promises, but through a steady stream of effort that never stopped, no matter what came your way. When results speak louder than words, you gain a level of credibility that cannot be denied or debated. In a world full of noise where people are constantly making claims, setting lofty goals, and promising transformation, results cut through everything. They don't require explanation. They don't beg for validation. They simply exist as undeniable proof of effort, consistency, and execution. When you let your results speak for you, you separate yourself from the crowd. While others are busy trying to convince people of their value, you let your achievements do the talking, and that creates an impact that words alone could never achieve. The pursuit of visible results often starts quietly. Behind every success story lies a period of intense work that no one saw. Long nights, focused mornings, routines that most would avoid, and sacrifices that go unnoticed. This stage is where character is forged. It's where resilience is built. And it's where the foundation of real results begins to form. Talking about what you're going to do might bring temporary attention, but executing it without needing an audience brings lasting influence. Results come from the doing, not the declaring. When you produce results, you eliminate doubt. People might question your approach, challenge your ideas, or criticize your silence, but results create a response they can't ignore. They're a mirror that reflects effort. No one can argue with outcomes backed by real discipline and consistent action. You don't need to defend yourself when your results stand tall. The more you accomplish, the less you have to explain, and the less energy you waste trying to prove yourself. That energy can be reinvested into more action, more growth, and more refinement of your craft. Allowing results to speak builds quiet confidence. It's not the kind of confidence that shouts or boasts. It's the calm, grounded assurance that comes from knowing you've done the work. It's a confidence rooted in preparation, not performance. This kind of confidence is magnetic. It attracts the right people, earns respect, and opens doors because it's clear that you are capable, disciplined, and trustworthy. You become the person people look to not for words, but for results, for leadership, for execution under pressure. When you focus on results, you naturally become outcome-driven. You don't get distracted by drama, by what others are saying, or by the temptation to overexpose your process. You remain focused on moving forward, improving, and building. Results become your language. Every milestone, every breakthrough, every deliverable becomes a statement of purpose. And because you didn't seek applause along the way, the impact is even more powerful. It arrives with strength, with substance, and with the surprise of quiet consistency coming to fruition. Those who let results speak often become the most respected in any field. They are remembered not for how often they talked, but for how often they delivered. Their silence wasn't a lack of ambition. It was a sign of maturity, of focus, of knowing that what matters isn't how loudly you speak about your vision, but how clearly you bring it to life through action.